Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Chris K back at the lab. Thank you for joining me here at Labstraction. Moving right along in our research process, we're going to look at some ways of organizing UX research through the Atomics UX research framework. And then there's another framework method of organizing your data using the KWHL method. We're going to be using Miro, the whiteboarding tool, and going to show you affinity diagramming on the Notes app tool. With that, we're going to get into categorizing groups. Now, looking at the Atomic Research Framework, we have experiments, facts, insights, recommendations. Each of these are what you would call atoms of the research process. We're going to go further into that. Experiments are where we learned it. Like, for instance, is it a source? What kind of source? A study? Activity? It's the context for the facts. And the context, it could be also user interviews where you gathered these behavior or any insight. They could be quotes from user interviews, or they could be secondary literature. Facts are, sorry, yeah. So experiments or studies are the places where you've conducted your research, how you gather the data. Facts are what we learned, like the quotes, the observations, the statistic, industry trends, insights. Now, although facts are these aren't based on opinion or bias, or these are just basically like anything that is a data point that you've gathered. Insights are what why we think a certain fact is the way it is. Like, or why are people clicking on this button, or like are not responding to this type of app flow, or they're missing certain control on the application bar, toolbar, stuff like that. That would be the cause or the effects of the evidence, synthesis of insights of what the facts mean, and recommendations of what should we do with this knowledge, what comes next. And usually when you make these recommendations based on insights, they should be testable. The cycle continues again, and then you go through if you want to find out further any insights and make any recommendations. These are the things that should be testable. And you can also build on this process to form molecules of research. We have the experiments, facts, insights, recommendations, and when you make another recommendation, leads to another experiment or another study or another round of user interview questions that might be inspired from the recommendations to look further into the issue. We got facts, insights, recommendations again, and you just continue the process. There's also the part where that facts cannot be separated from the method of collection of research. And I think I did go over this, but insights can. Insights, they can, which lead to recommendations, they can be testable. And you can have several insights coming from different facts or from one fact, or you can have the opposite. You can have several facts that can lead to one big insight in and that could lead to recommendation, which will start the process again if you wanted to test or go further deep into an issue that you came across in your research. So I wanted to go through now for this part. We're gonna look at this Miro tool. It's got some really neat features here. You can make sticky notes, pull them, drag them. You got a list of templates that you can make in several categories, mapping and diagramming. But we're going to go over the research that that is relevant to the Notes app. And we're going to start with the presentation here. I always like to put the source and moving along. So this is the KWHL method. What I know and what I wonder, how will I learn and what I learned. What I know is like what we know about, maybe I've used this as an example, like what I know about the industry, like some terms that are relevant to note-taking apps. There is this idea about there's this like methods of collection called maps of content, where you can map all the notes that you take, but essentially it's made to produce insight from your own notes. And we have what I wonder. What are the user's intention? What does the Note app mean for them? Learning theories supporting app build. I found that very interesting in one of the articles from ResearchGate, which is true. There's a lot of these apps are not really supported. They're conceptual models. They're not really built around like cognitive scientific learning theories. And I thought it would have been cool to include that, and it was something that I kind of learned, which I also put here in this section. And research archives for how will I learn this, videos, user interviews, that's still on the table. Perhaps later when the prototype gets built or a wireframe is made, that for the app, we can have users go through on the app, and they can leave comments, or I can do a couple usability tests, and that's still always on the table. And here we have just an example of the atomic research framework in action. Like I've listed these sources for the studies experiments section, and these are individual facts. And then these are the insights. They can lead to help you organize the information. So quotes from the article that I picked up here, that while taking notes, students processed and personalized the digital learning materials by making comments, underlining, marking images, and drawing. The visual nature of their learning materials stimulated learning. I should probably have this connected here. Digital visual notes help students consolidate information if used to supplement to other learning methods. Now it's like I've heard it's important that there is no such thing as a visual learner or auditory learner. Like we all use all these modalities depending on the context. So I thought that we can connect those two ideas here in the insights. Digital visual notes help students consolidate information if used in supplement to other learning methods. If we're going to be contextual about where these apps might be used, they'd probably be used in some academic context. And the affinity diagram. Now, when you're doing research for design for an app, it is going to get quite messy. So this is all the research that's been collected so far. And I wanted to make sure that I had a problem statement from our research objectives that we did earlier, to have it clear in the mind of what's the question that we're trying to, like, what is the problem we're trying to solve. And you want to have that very clear when you're organizing your information. One of the reasons why UX design research tends to get messy is because of the qualitative nature of research methods. Like, for instance, these are quotes, some of them are concepts, and it can get quite messy. It's not like as cleanly as you would have something on an SQL database for anything that you would collect for numbers. Although that type of research, quantitative research, is important to UX design, especially in digital analytics. But right now, because we're building something completely new, like, this is going to be a totally messy process. What affinity diagrams do is, like, you take all the notes, sticky notes, and or whatever kind of notes. You can do this on a wall. You can do this very analog or digital. Usually you do this with a partner, or several other people, because having more than one person organize the information and making the categories kind of makes you see things differently that you haven't noticed before, or that you or make up categories that you wouldn't have thought of in the first place. So like having people's different backgrounds and their experience brought to bear on the affinity diagram process is really helpful. So we have here note-taking styles. I put here methods of organization. These are types of note-taking methods of organization. I called it visual gestalt, like note apps, visual note apps. What we're focusing on is like they're very visual. They can make you see. They can really help you to process information very fast. That was one of the quotes that we got from some of our sources. Seeing the big picture, very very important for like if you're going to be doing like mind mapping tools. It is very good for getting like really taking stock of really complex topics. And there's other stuff here that I didn't really get to organizing here. But as the days go further, this will be in their own categories, and all grouped up together. Oh yeah, I just wanted to mention that the problem statement at the end of the research objective that I put, anyways, how I did it, starts with a how might we help, and then you have your users, your particular brand of users. Help visual note takers build. How might we help visual note takers build a flexible, minimal solution to help them collect, store, and easily retrieve knowledge to build upon and make new ideas? And that's the big part I wanted to stress in designing, like having a direction in designing this app. Like it's not only for storing and retrieval or data collection or information collecting, like we like to collect articles and like stuff, pictures, photos, inspiring quotes, but also we need to do something with that. So like we need you know we want to collect information so we can do something with it, and that's the whole idea about making new ideas. Like making new ideas is part of the process, making new ideas that come from you. And this note app, possibly we can design this to do just that. Anyways, that is the research and analysis. We're going into the analysis part. The next few videos, we're gonna kind of go. I'm gonna make a video on the resource, like a list of resources that we can use that can kind of be useful for getting ideas when we go into the ideation phase. So stay tuned for that. For the next video, I'll be offering a Notion resource page where you can just duplicate and add it to your own Notion workspace. Anyways, that's thanks for joining me, and that's Chris at the Labstraction.